Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So new year, same old Sweet Baby Inc. because it took just one day for this woke consulting firm to find itself in its first set of controversies for the year 2025. Today we're going to be looking at two different situations that are very parallel to one another, where basically you have a company or studio who partner with Sweet Baby Inc. and then they found out because their related projects and the studios themselves are now struggling mightily. Now, it is a new year, like I said, and I want to take this opportunity, just 30 seconds here, to remind you guys that my limited edition Christmas drop with my wife, Darling Straub, and her vtuber model is still live for a little bit longer. You can see the art concept behind all of this, the wall art. You can also get these stickers and these pajama pants. Very cute stuff. But on top of that, because it's a new year, and I know a lot of you guys are trying to improve your health and fitness, you're going to be going to the gym more, I can't recommend enough their flavor jars, especially their energy type flavor jars. You can see the new one, the peppermint vanilla. You can check out that one or other ones listed on their website, but it is a great alternative to pre-workout or coffee. It gives you the same energy boost without the crash or jitters that come with those other sources. And to keep it cool all day, we have these various ice shakers here. You can get the big jug or the regular ice shaker. I'll put a link to this in the pinned comment. And as always, make sure to use code REV at checkout to save 10% off your total order. Now let's get into the first story involving Sweet Baby. So we got here because of a report by Master of the TDS and his wife Raven Redgrave on their Gothic Therapy channel. I'll put a link to that video in the description. You can check them out. But they made a discovery. They found another connection between a publisher and Sweet Baby Inc. Now, who is it? Well, unfortunately, it's Devolver Digital, which is kind of a letdown for a lot of people. A lot of people like this publisher, but yeah, as you can see, they're caught up in the Sweet Baby mess. This is a publisher who has released a lot of big hits, including Cult of the Lamb, among others, but none of those hits, they pale in comparison to the latest banger here, The Crush House. This is going to be the game we're talking about today. You can see this is modern audience approved, okay? The bright colors, the ugly character designs, the forced diversity, and on and on and on. And you can see just in the background, I mean, this is all makes sense, right? Not only the game itself, but also the people, the influencers they got to promote this. It's just the usual suspects. But anyways, this is the description. Film and produced 1999's hottest reality TV show, The Crush House. Select a crush-worthy cast, satisfy voracious audiences, and keep the show on air to uncover the sinister secrets behind this darkly comic thirst-person shooter. Thirst-person shooter. Very interesting phrase there. But yeah, pretty much everything associated with this game is very strange and cringe, as you can see by this video playing in the background here. But on top of that, they have their own account on Twitter. They're releasing stuff like this. Let me just play this for a few seconds.
Rating the Crush House kissing animations. Elegant kiss. Regular kiss.
Yeah, you get it, right? This looks like it was produced by TikTok itself. It's very cringe. On top of that, this game and its developers have a weird obsession with something called dog milk, which is a very subtle innuendo they're going for here. In fact, they're so obsessed with this, they actually paid influencers on TikTok to make this. They paid influencers like this, it's a paid partnership, to make this dog milk monstrosity. Very strange stuff, but when you start looking around and realizing the connection to Sweet Baby, it all makes sense, right? And here is the connection that was discovered. It involves this person, Maxine Sophia Wolf, who is a transgender writer and narrative designer at Sweet Baby Inc. Now, this is the image from our source video here. This is the connection, a LinkedIn post where they say they liked working on the narrative design of this wild game, referring to the Crush House, of course. And yeah, that's really about it. You got the connection there. And now you think, what happened? How did this game perform? Oh no, they got modern audienced. Yes, 8 in-game players as we speak, despite this game only coming out a few months ago. There is the modern audience. This game was made for them, and that's what you get. It's a very disappointing number. I'm sure it's kind of strange too, because they put a lot of investment into promoting this game. They had a lot of influencers trying to promote this game. It seems like they put a pretty big effort and budget into that, and it just did not pan out. And you can see the downfall was very quick. Okay, they had their peak on day one at 362 players, and within a month, it was down to around 20. And it's completely flatlined at this point. We might see a little resurgence here because people are starting to talk about this game. Maybe some people will play it to make fun of it. Who knows? That's something that happens, but this is a very curious case and a very bad look for Sweet Baby Inc. because a lot of people blame YouTubers and people on social media for ruining these Sweet Baby related projects because they tell everyone don't play the game, or they reveal the connection and people refuse to support the game. But in this case, that excuse doesn't work because nobody knew about this until literally yesterday. So they failed on their own based on the quality of the game. People just didn't want to tune in. So basically that Sweet Baby kiss of death, the mark of death that comes with being associated with Sweet Baby, even when it's hidden, it still shows itself in other ways, and this is just proof of that. People don't like anything associated with them, and even the quality that comes out, it's pretty obvious it's something that's influenced by Sweet Baby or other woke consulting firms. Now, also this same person, this narrative designer over at Sweet Baby, they would also make a couple other tweets saying that they were one of the people involved with Alan Wake. They worked with Remedy Games, which, by the way, is a commercial failure, despite the fact that Sweet Baby tries to tout this as a hugely successful partnership. They haven't even sold enough units to start collecting royalties. EA has not gotten its number yet, so they quite literally are dead in the water. They haven't made a single dollar on this game yet, despite selling well over 1 million units. On top of that, she also mentions here that she was someone who worked with Rocksteady Games on Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. We know that, okay? Cost Warner Bros. Hundreds of millions of dollars. And also relevant to that, this was announced recently that PlayStation is now introducing Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League to the PlayStation Plus monthly games for January. Ouch. It has been literally less than a year since this game released, and it's already in the PlayStation Plus group here for January. Again, their servers, their live service aspect of their game will be shutting down next month. So that was an absolute disaster. So now while we're here talking about Sweet Baby, let's cover another situation that was covered by Smash JT about 4 days ago. He made this article and a related video on this topic. I'll put a link to his video in the description as well if you want to check out his channel. But I want to cover this because it's another Sweet Baby disaster, another Sweet Baby kiss of death. So here is the headline: Reeling Sweet Baby Inc. partner Heart Machine begs for survival on Patreon. That is the look of the average person who worked with Sweet Baby, just completely crushed, soul crushed by the results of that partnership. But as he says here, I mentioned Heart Machine a few weeks back because their studio was on the verge of falling apart after mass layoffs, and oh boy, it hasn't gotten any better at all. Known for titles like Hyper Light Drifter and Solar Ash, their recent move to launch Patreon has left many fans feeling betrayed, and the reasons are pretty obvious as to why. With their struggles are real and their passion for game development is clearly undeniable, the overall response from the entire gaming community has been overwhelmingly skeptical, and for a good reason. So as we can see here, the connection was made with the Sweet Baby website here. They listed it back in the day, and you can see that they worked on Hyperlight, and that connection was something that really damaged the studio, who, like Smash JT said, they seem like they're passionate and they actually enjoy what they're doing, but man, they just weren't doing the right things, I guess, and one of those wrong decisions was partnering with Sweet Baby. The DEI connection was not worth it. It really hurt some momentum they had, and now you have this person coming on and talking to their audience about this, and you can see Heart Machine is not in a good place.
I'm Alex, and I run Heart Machine, and we're here to talk about the Patreon. So, state of the industry, not great right now. Games are the greatest form of expression that humans have ever created. There's a common saying in development that it's a miracle that any games are made at all, let alone good ones. And now, it's even more brutal. Over the past 2 years, the industry has rapidly changed, flipped around and turned upside down. Funding for new projects is sparse, even for successful developers. Everything is far more expensive to make. Paths we used to be able to take to create projects no longer exist. You've likely heard about this on some front. It's grim. 30%.
Okay, you get the point. He'll go on to say that he's opening up a Patreon. I just played it for a second to give you guys kind of the vibe of Alex here, and it's grim. Okay, this is not exuding confidence, and that's why it's relevant to the Patreon itself, because yes, it makes sense for content creators to have a Patreon. Like, I have one. One of my goals for 2025 is to revamp my Patreon and get some good rewards in there and to work on that a bit. But for content creators, you know, people pay towards your Patreon for small benefits, as well as just using as a tip jar to support creators you like. But when you're a studio relying on Patreon to basically keep the lights on, that's a different story. And that makes people really skeptical, because there's no guarantee. People are giving money over in a sense, as a promise. They're given a promise that a game might happen. And if they don't get the money, obviously the game's not going to be complete. So I think people are very rightfully skeptical of what's going on with this Patreon, and it really did not generate any goodwill. And people are now wondering if this is actually going to be contributing anything towards the game development itself. But yeah, the comments, oof, they're brutal. They are absolutely brutal. Let's read a few of them. Ask the modern audience to support you. Damn, working with Sweet Baby Inc. didn't help much. Ask Kim Belair to help you. Don't ask normal people for money. Ask the people who you cater to. A company hating its customer base runs into financial problems. Shocking. Ask Sweet Baby to refund their consultancy fees. Having Sweet Baby on board obviously didn't support sales, but you knew this, and saying you didn't makes you incompetent. It's wild to me that you are actually asking for us to pay for you to make games for us to buy. Ran with the wrong crowd, huh? And one last one here. The industry didn't change. Gamers still like good games. It's developers like you who decided the current audience doesn't suit your vision and started making games to an audience that doesn't exist. Very well said. The comments absolutely eviscerating Heart Machine here, and for good reason. Overall, just reflecting on these two situations and Sweet Baby, and you know, we're in a new year now, so we can have a re-examination of what's going on. You know, companies like Sweet Baby and other consultation services like them, they exist to force diversity into games. And turns out 95% of players don't consider inclusivity important in gaming. What a shocker. Yeah, turns out the activists on places like Twitter and Blue Sky, they don't actually play the games or support these games, and they don't represent the average gamer. Average gamers don't care. They're not angry about diversity existing naturally in games. They're annoyed when it's very clearly forced, and that is literally the point of Sweet Baby Inc. They are there to force diversity, and it somehow is not clear, despite all of the failures of Sweet Baby partners, all the criticism launched towards that consultation group. It's just not clear to these developers, and they keep going back for more. And unfortunately, you know, these games are in development for years. Some of the people might just be screwed at this point. They made a deal with the devil. They partnered up with Sweet Baby maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago to work on their game, and now their game's releasing in 2025, and that connection is going to be discovered, even though they might regret that connection. Well, guess what? People are going to discover it, and they're not going to trust the game, and they're just not going to want to flat out support anything that's associated with Sweet Baby or any of their ilk. I mean, at this point, the formula is so simple. Right? The formula is so simple to make a good game. Just make it functional, somewhat fun, and then maybe throw in a cute anime girl. Okay? Boom. You're going to be breaking records at this point. I know I'm being a bit glib about it, but like, that's the truth. Just make something decent and decently enjoyable and with appealing designs of characters and the atmosphere overall of the game. It doesn't take that much, but these people in the industry, they're so lost in the sauce. They're making absolute slop, And then they're trying to also get you to pay for your own games or the development of your own game, of their games, and then you have to turn around and then pay for the game again. It's mind-boggling. I mean, we live in an environment right now where you have games like Miside absolutely crushing it. You had 2 Russian dudes who made this game, and all it really took for that was having a functional, fun game with some cute anime girls in it to add a little cherry on top. And look at it. It's crushing major AAA releases. I mean, Veilguard is completely getting squashed by Miside. It's embarrassing. And the worst part of it all is that you know these developers are going to learn nothing. They're not going to learn anything from this. They're not going to learn the benefits of having appealing character designs. They're not going to learn that players are sick of forced diversity. They're just going to do it again and again until eventually their doors shut down. And nobody will feel sorry for them when that happens. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.